Hey friends, welcome back to Real Girl Talk, the podcast for women who want to live an empowered, intentional life. I will be giving you the best tips in business, lifestyle, as well as emotional and spiritual healing, bringing you interesting guests and giving you a weekly dose of inspiration, committed to always keeping it real. Now let's dive in. I am so grateful that you're here.
The loss of a loved one is a nearly universal emotional crisis. Unprocessed grief and painful feelings can be buried, leaving you to feel numb. But there is hope. Certified grief counselor, RN, and author Cherie shares her story of how to cope in her first book, Wake Up Call, A Mother's Grief Journey, after the loss of her 17-year-old son. This book, along with Cherie's other books, are available on Amazon as well as on CherieRicard.com.
Welcome back to Real Girl Talk. I am your host, Cherie, and as always, thank you so much. I am so grateful that you're joining me this morning. And you know, I always promise you really, real, amazing guests, and I am not going to disappoint you today. I have a beautiful woman joining us today. She is a TV power player, Daphna Ziman. She's the founder and president of the acclaimed television network, Cinémoi, like a kiss, moi. She does thousands of classic films and she does premium content and documentaries. She's going to talk to us today about female leadership, also about her organization, Children United Nations. And also she's going to give a little bit of tips and advice for anyone that is inspiring to be in the TV industry. Thank you and welcome to the show, Daphna.
Thank you so much, Cherie, and I'm really proud to be on your show. Number one, I feel that you're coming from such an incredible place. The authenticity of having to go through a difficulty in life and emerge by giving is an example to all of us, and I thank you so much for what you're doing.
Oh, I got goosebumps, Daphna. Thank you so much. That was very, very sweet. You know, I just try to live every day the best that I possibly can. And I know we all have adversities in our life, and I've had my share as well as others. But I truly believe that if you can find your power within your pain, you can transform that pain into something really powerful for those that are also walking in any kind of adversity or just trying to reach their goals and dreams. And you are no exception to the rule, Daphna, because you are a true go-getter. And I want to hear about your television network. Tell us where this came from and a little bit about your background.
Well, thank you so much. Cinémoi, which is cinémoi.tv, if any of your listeners would like to acquaint themselves with what we do, is really was born in Europe. It's really a channel that is formed with incredible integrity and commitment to the viewers. When I first saw Cinémoi, it was a French channel, and I was on a book tour because I wrote a book called The Gray Zone, Gray, and it got on the New York Times bestsellers list, and then I won Best New Novelist in the country.
Amazing.
And it's on my book tour, and every night I would go back to my hotel and I would turn on this incredible channel, Cinémoi. And I couldn't believe it because American television was beginning to be so disappointing that I felt, begrudged actually, because when, I grew up on American television.
Yeah.
And I was so proud. I think the rest of the world was too, because America was the mecca of communication for the world. And many, many people, all they ever wanted to do was be an American.
Right.
And all of a sudden, because I was working so hard, I didn't get much of a chance to watch television. All of a sudden, I started watching television after my husband and I split up and were getting a divorce. And I was horrified with all the reality TV and the way women were personified and the demeaning of women in media was horrifying to me.
Right.
And, I wrote the book to kind of like live vicariously through other characters to escape the reality of the divorce because it's so brutal.
Right.
And at the same time, watching women being degraded was horrible to see. So when I got to France and I saw Cinémoi, which was uplifting women, it showed all the great French and European films, the great directors, and the glamour era of women, I decided that we needed to do that in America. We
Yes.
needed to have a channel that uplifts the image of women because we all know our mothers are women, our grandmothers are women, our daughters are women, and there's no room for our society to degrade women. And I wanted to do it in a different way than perhaps the Me Too movement. I wanted to do it through glamour and dignity and storytelling. And so I found out who owned the channel, and I called my partner, Rod Sherwood. He was then the CEO of Westwood One, the radio and television conglomerate.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I'm really upset about the way American television is moving, and I feel that there's going to be a huge exodus because of the poor content and the huge increasing prices. And I feel an obligation to do something about it. So this channel, and he said, you know what? I feel the same way. And he said, and here was a guy who was one of the founding members of DirecTV that agreed with me. And so he flew to Europe and he watched it and he went, you know what, let's go for it. And on September 2012, we launched Cinémoi. Within 3 months, we had 2.5% of the market share on DirecTV. Within 6 months, we were at 4.0% of the market share.
Wow.
Today, we are distributed by Verizon Files, by Sling. We are an app on Samsung. We just launched on Google Play. We just launched on Comcast. In fact, on the Xfinity platform, you just say the word Cinémoi, and you can sign on immediately. And what the content is all about is we are the only high fashion network in the world. And we bring both vintage movies and modern movies that show women in their strength and beauty. We also have great entertainment shows and documentaries, and we feature major women not only in Hollywood, but in the world, that really enhanced our culture, because at the end of the line, our media, our television screen is a mirror to who we are today.
Right.
We are the gatekeepers. You and I are the gatekeepers for the future of our children, because what will they see on that screen and on the small screen is what leaves an impact on them forever. And that is a fiduciary responsibility that we have to do the right thing. And with Cinémoi, we have. That's why every year we've been winning major awards. This year we already won 6 awards. We are literally so conscientious that we curate every second on the network. And instead of commercials, we have gotten our advertisers to sponsor quality of life, about integrity, about love, so that people watching the channel can be inspired, but also aspired. And that's why our demographics are all the way from 15 to 45 and more, who are gravitating towards it. Number one, when they go on Netflix, it's a search engine nightmare. But when they go on Cinémoi, we curate for them. So they enjoy just sitting down and enjoying movies they can't see on any other channel, programs, they can see the Met Gala, they can see all the fashion weeks, they can see the haute couture shows from Paris, they can see, the documentary about Elizabeth Taylor, about Brigitte Bardot, about all these incredible women of past time and contemporary women actually look up to women and men. Like we
Right.
have an incredible documentary about Andrea Bocelli, and it's really a different take on his life because it's the love story between him and his wife, and how she, as a beautiful model, felt invisible because nobody saw who she really was. And
Mhm.
he always felt invisible because he couldn't see, and how she became his eyes. And
Wow.
together their souls just bonded. And it's an act of God. And this is what's missing in so much of the conversation that we listen to every day.
Right.
I myself meditate every day, and I put myself in the white light and I ask God to guide me every day.
Yes, I
And
do
I
too.
this is what we all need to do in every profession.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Definitely. I'm so inspired just listening to you. I think I could just sit and listen to you all day. I mean, because you really are, you're encompassing everything that I already feel and I already try to preach and put out there. And I love the fact that you want such positive, you want to put so much positivity out, because you know what my mother used to say? She would say garbage in, garbage out. And so I try to, and I pride myself on encompassing myself in conversations, surrounding myself with people. Everything that I do is the opposite of garbage in, garbage out, because what I want is inspiration and encouragement and love in, so I can give the inspiration and encouragement and love out. And it's true, because I truly believe that we are the sum, and I say this, I preach it all the time. We are the sum of the 5 most people we surround ourselves with. And I believe that goes too with what we're putting in, whether it be television, radio, podcast radio, broadcast radio, it doesn't matter. Whatever we're listening to and watching becomes something that's a part of us, and it's what we put out there.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I was watching, we had a premiere last night of our new series, Cape Town. But before I went to the theater, I was watching a little bit of the debate. And I thought to myself, this whole food fight is so unbecoming, you
Yeah,
know. And here we are in a very crucial moment in this country where there's so much division. And I was thinking, I just felt like watching that stage, I felt like, why would I want to watch more division?
right.
More of a backbiting, insulting, you know, circle of people that I'm supposed to vote for as a leader. I
Right.
was very disheartened. I'm disheartened when leaders spew out meaning words that hurt us all because
Right.
you know words remain. You can't take words back.
Exactly. And you know what? The thing is, we teach our children not to be bullies, but yet as adults, we do exactly that. When you're talking ugly and you're treating people ugly and you're being disrespectful and dismissive, you're actually bullying someone. And to me, it's just, it's and to watch women do it. I mean, for anyone to do it, men or women, is just disheartening. But to watch women cut other women to empower themselves in some way or try to make them feel superior of, is, to me, is just disgusting. I can't watch it. I just don't. I refuse to watch it. I have to surround myself with love and empowerment, inspiration. And I am a, besides being a beauty junkie and I like to try every product under the sun, I'm also an education junkie. So I love to go out there and search and find everything that I need to know to help me with my goals. And then in turn, I can turn around and teach someone else what I've learned.
To learn every minute of every day and to teach every minute of every day. That's what we're here for. I mean, life is school. I mean, hopefully we're going somewhere else, better. because we've gone through life.
Exactly. And I want to talk to you about your Children's United Nations. So tell me a little bit about that project and why that particular foundation or organization. How did you begin?
Well, it was an amazing moment in my life. I always believe in giving, in being charitable, because I think life is a cycle. When you receive, you must give.
Right.
And, you have to take responsibility. You can't just sit on on the side on the bank of the river, because you never know how strong the current is unless you're in it. So I always believe that you can't separate yourself from your life, your environment, your community, the people that need you. And so I used to write checks to this homeless mission in Los Angeles, in Santa Monica. And one day I just decided to go there. And when I went there, I was absolutely horrified because I saw children living in cubicles that literally 8 feet by 8 feet, and there were 3 cots, and each cot was covered by a sheet, hanging sheet, and there were maybe 5 children, and they were there were no showers or anything, so there was only a laundry trough that they were cleaning themselves in. And I was in the kitchen. When I passed by the kitchen, I saw this little girl sleeping on the bench. That was her bed. And there were meals being served to thousands of people. And beyond the kitchen, there was the nursery. And across the hall, there was this huge dark room where there were bunk beds for seniors and that were homeless now because their 401ks didn't work or whatever. And so I thought to myself, my God, what am I looking at? And I realized that children and family services are obviously not efficiently working with the people who need it most. And I realized that, as I looked into it and I did a lot of research and I talked to a lot of people, and I became close to Hillary Clinton because that was her passion, and Congresswoman Karen Bass, who was then Speaker in California. And I realized that we needed to do something, but by visualizing it. And what I thought was most important is to find a mentor for every child at risk, because I knew that if we could find a mentor, it can be an educational mentor, a occupational mentor, and a life skill mentor. And that person would acquaint these children with what they need to be acquainted with so that they have a fighting chance at being contributing citizens, because most of these children end up homeless and uneducated, and by age 18, the system spews them out. Only way that they can survive is through drug trafficking and sex trafficking.
Right.
And that's no way to live life. We are breeding from good kids, criminals.
Right.
And the ones we are institutionalizing from birth to death. So I couldn't just turn my back. I felt that I needed to do this and get people involved, entire communities involved, so that we can give these kids a fighting chance through caring adults who are not paid to be there. Because almost every single person in these children's lives is paid to be there, and they don't feel the emotional or soul commitment. These are God's children.
You mentioned a mentor for these children. So do you have a group of volunteers that mentor individual children in the network?
Yes. So what we do is we have a huge recruitment day. We did one in New York. Michael Bloomberg helped us a lot. And here in LA, we do it every year where we have a big carnival day. And we invite university students and we match them, each one with a foster child.
Oh.
And then they have a day of getting acquainted, and then they have a day of seeing what it's like to connect and seeing that these children are not monsters. They're wonderful, beautiful children that because of the opiate, epidemic have been taken from their homes. And so
Mm-hmm.
what we need to do as a community, we need to get involved. And
Right.
and amazingly enough, these students and the community members that become mentors love it, and they feel enriched by this experience because in the Bible it says when you save one life, you save the entire world, and that's the premise and the foundation of my foundation.
I love that because I think sometimes we do, like you saw a particular need and you saw that and you took action. And I know how many times people see a need and they think that, they may not have the financial means to take the action, but they do have the ability to volunteer their time and volunteer their knowledge. We have so many people with unbelievable skills. I mean, I know there are organizations in New Orleans that, and I'm in between Daphna. I live in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans in South Louisiana, and I know there's a lot of organizations all over, but in New Orleans in particularly, there are kids groups or networks for children where they bring in professionals to teach them certain skills. And we have, of course, we're known for our cooking, right, in South Louisiana, and we have chefs that come in and teach these children how to cook. We have people that are in the beauty industry that teach these young girls how to take care of their skin and how to take care of their hair. And just, so a lot of times I think that people sit back and they say, well, I don't have the funds to start an organization, or I don't have the money to donate. But what you do have is you have experience and skill in order to donate your time, in order to empower and educate a child that otherwise may not have any chance of learning any type of skill, or much less feeling loved or even cared for by giving their time. So I think it's amazing that you do that. Now, for someone outside of that area that's not present to donate their time, what can someone do outside of California or in the LA area to help with your children's networking organization?
All you have to do is call the Department of Children and Family Services and say, I want to be a mentor.
Mm.
And the other thing, we are always looking for foster parents and for adoptive parents.
Yeah.
Because we have over 500,000 children now who are living out of home care in the country, and they need permanent homes, and they need love, and they need people in their lives that are not paid to be there.
Right.
People that care, because all the statistics show and all the research shows that if you have one caring adult in the life of a child, that child is more likely to be completely whole. We only need one person that cares about us to feel worthy.
I love that, Daphna. Thank you for sharing that with us. I really do appreciate that, because I know that I'm a true advocate to help mothers, because as you know, I lost my 17-year-old son. And anytime somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, there's a mom that lost a child, whether it be by email, I get a lot of messages on my social media, Facebook and my Instagram, that will just say there's a mom that's suffering. I always try to offer something. I will send emails, I'll make phone calls if I have to, whatever it is, because I know when my son died, I know no one that had ever lost a child, no one. And so it was very difficult, because even though there were people around me and I was extremely supported with people, I still felt like I was alone on an island of the mother that lost her child, because I didn't know anyone. And I always vowed to be that mom or that person to reach out to someone that's hurting, whether it be any type of grief, whether it be a loss of a child or a mom or a sister. And that's why I went back and got my certification in grief coaching, not because I sit down one-on-one and do counseling, but just because I want to be able to speak from education, not just experience. And between the two, I know that I can help someone help heal through their grief and help them grow and find the other side, which, there's two parts of grief. There's the mourning, and then there's the remaking of life. And sometimes you just need that person to help you with the remaking of life part. So I truly appreciate what you do. And I want to switch gears a little bit, because the television industry it's really, really growing. My son is actually in an acting school in New Orleans. Though he starts college in the fall, he's also in acting and modeling. As a matter of fact, he has a commercial that he just landed for on Monday. And I know there's other kids that are growing in this industry. So tell us, for those that are listening, what are some tips or advice for those that are wanting to get into the television and that type of industry?
It's a very tough to get into because it's so overwhelming, and there are so many people that want to break in.
Right.
That it's become an industry that guards itself. But knowing that you can face many difficulties to get in, instead of deterring you, it should make you feel determined never to take no for an answer.
Right.
That is advice to everybody. Never take no for an answer. You never know where the help is going to come from, and you can't predict it. And so all you should do is work on your craft and keep knocking on doors. And when your time is there, you'll be surprised, because one of those knocks will actually end up with an open door. And but the most important is to polish your craft. If you want to be an actor, be the best actor. Really study, go into theater groups, small theater groups, emerge, offer to do commercials, go into any kind of independent movie, volunteer, free of pay, get a side job, but continue to follow your passion. Your passion has to be greater than the negatives that you're facing on the way, because people feel the passion. And when you're passionate and you see yourself as an actor, and you know that it's because you want to either portray other characters that fulfill, other people's lives or your life, then the other person, the casting director, will know it too, because they'll feel it. And that will be what differentiates you from other people. If you want to get into the industry as an actor, why don't you learn how to write, how to be a screenplay writer, write your own material that you can be starring in, and then shop an entire package. Find other people that want to be directors or cinematographers. Try to raise the money for an independent picture and put something together that gives you a track record. But all the time you follow plan A, plan B, plan C until you just crack it. Just don't give up.
That's great advice. And I just want to ask you too, you being a real power player in the television network as you are, and you are just such a queen to me. How do you feel about reality TV? What are your thoughts on that?
I absolutely loathe it. I feel, listen, we are living in a world in this media that is a very devastating reality, because literally 6 white men control the entire media. They are interested in selling you pipes into your home, into your office, into your phone. So because that's what their business is, selling pipes and charging a lot of money for it because it's necessary. So the content is a loss leader. So therefore, they find ways to create content very cheaply. What reality TV has done for this country is absolutely devastating, because it gave permission for rudeness, permission for lack of respect, for lack of dignity. When you are on television and you're yelling to to overshadow somebody else, that is not dignified. And you may win that argument, by God, though, have you lost the war. People not thinking about the responsibilities that we have to the next generation. And all of this is so bad. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. We are human beings.
Exactly.
Love.
Exactly.
And we do love each other.
Right.
And we do. At the core of us, we love each other. Humanity is a good thing. And that's a part of what our channel is all about. Like, for instance, we have movies that you've never seen, I mean, series too. There's a series called Secret River, and it's about the first convicts that came to Australia before anyone was there. And it is about how they had to build a nation with the Aborigines.
Wow.
And you see how the Aborigines taught them how to live, how to survive. And you see how people come together when there is no politics, when they are building together, because we understand, I as a mother understand you as a mother beyond anything.
Right.
We feel, we know. You know, Cherie,
Right.
I know what you feel as a mother.
Right.
You know what I feel as a mother. We don't even have to talk about it.
Exactly.
And we show movies that show it, because one picture tells a million stories. We have a movie called I Am Slave about, remember those African girls that were abducted by the terrorist group and sold in Libya and England?
Yes.
One of them escaped, and we have a movie about her and how she got back with her father. It is the most heart-wrenching movie, but what at the core of it, it teaches us is that we are all the same, because it was the love of a father to a daughter that actually rescued her, and the love of a daughter to her father. And that is a human common denominator. And we at Cinémoi try to make sure that our programming touches people in that way and brings them back into what we love, to where we care, to where our responsibilities are. And when you show stories that actually elevate your spirit, then you feel like somebody has given you something instead of take from you.
You're absolutely right. Daphna, I appreciate you so much. I really do. And I know you're super busy, so I appreciate the time that you invested with me and all of the listeners. And I know people want to continue to follow you. And I believe that your television network has an app that we can watch. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can, we're on Google Play, but we're also on Samsung. If you have a Samsung TV, you just download Cinémoi, Cinemoi, and you can go on cinemoi.tv in whichever area you are where you can get us. You can get us on Sling. We are in the Hollywood Extra package. Actually, that's the best deal in town. It's only $25 for all the channels. And that includes the Hollywood Extra package, which is us, HBO, and Showtime.
Great.
And, and then you can get us for $2.99 on Comcast. All you have to do is go to the Xfinity box and vocally say Cinémoi, and you can buy it for $2.99. We try to make sure that we are charging so little and giving so much. But we would love all of your viewers to be our friends and our family.
Thank you. And where can we find you, Daphna? Where can we follow you on social media?
I have an Instagram, which is Daphna Ziman. I'm also on Facebook and on LinkedIn. But, I really don't usually have much time, to go on social media.
Right.
So it's best if you have messages for me, go on cinemoi.tv and I will respond to all your messages because I'm working all the time. So that's where I go to, and a lot of people reach out to me there.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. Thank you for just sharing with the women on how to step up in leadership and about your organization. I love that. Thank you for the advice that you've given us for anyone that's interested in the industry. I love you for that. And guys, I want to remind you to jump back over to the podcast on iTunes or anywhere that you listen to Real Girl Talk. Leave us a review. And so I want to highlight your reviews. I want to highlight you and your reviews on upcoming episodes, and also take a snap screenshot of today's show with Daphna and I and post it on your Instagram stories, and you can tag us. You can tag Daphna Ziman and you can tag me. Empowerment is Beauty. And we appreciate you so much. Remember to be a light for someone today. So in your time of need, you will have like-minded people in your corner, in your community of friends to help you pull through. And until next week, have a blessed day.
Hey guys, I want to make sure that I tell you about Writer's Roadmap Master Course that's going to be opening up in a month. If you remember, this course was open in the spring of this year, and it's going to open up again in the fall. So if you have a book inside of you, something that you've wanted to get out there and say, maybe it's a how-to, maybe it's your story. You know, when you're just starting out, the first question that you might have is, what should I write about? How do I publish? I constantly get questions from people unsure about which area they want to become an author in. And they often are just very nervous about choosing the wrong path or the right path. They don't understand the techie part of publishing, and they just have no idea how to even create a cover or where to begin. Well, I'm going to tell you that Writer's Roadmap Master Course would be perfect for you if this is what you're going through. It's going to open up in about a month. It's a 9-module course. It's going to give you 21 lectures packed with valuable information, videos, PDFs, templates, and guides to show you just how to write a dynamic book cover, how to format, launch, publish, and market your book. It's time to get that story, that skill, that knowledge that's in you out into the world. I'm going to give more information later on as the weeks go by with exact dates. I'm also going to be offering some bonuses for the first 48 hours when we do relaunch the Writer's Roadmap Master Course in about a month. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, Empowerment is Beauty. Make sure that you're going to Facebook, Empowerment is Beauty, so you have it first hand. You can also go to my website, CherieRicard.com. And right there, you'll have a pop-up box. Put your name, your email in that, and you'll be able to know right when the course is launched.